In this video, we'll show you how to change the rear axle shaft on your Ford F-150. You can find it on CarParts.com via the link in the description. For safety reasons, we strongly suggest watching our video on how to jack your Ford F-150 safely. In order to remove the rear axle shaft, you need to disengage it from the differential. To do this, you must drain the differential. Lift the front and rear of your vehicle, allowing your Ford F-150 to be level so that you can remove all of the fluid. For this kind of operation, it is important to always start by unscrewing the filler hole plug, because if it remains stuck after draining the fluid, the vehicle will be immobilized. Place a fluid collection tray under the differential to catch the differential fluid that will flow out. Unscrew the filler hole plug using a ratchet and a 3/8" square socket. Start the process with the ratchet and finish it off by hand. The components to be removed are very often seized up, so don't hesitate to brush and to use penetrating oil to make removal easier. Using a ratchet and a long 13mm socket, loosen the 12 bolts holding the differential cover. Release the differential cover. You can also use a screwdriver to help you. Let the fluid run out for about 10 minutes. Then remove the bolts. Remove the differential cover. Set the gear shift lever to neutral so that you can easily turn the differential and access the pinion shaft lock bolt. You can now freely rotate the drive shaft in order to access the pinion shaft lock bolt. Using a ratchet, an extender, and a 3/8" socket, unscrew the lock bolt from the pinion shaft, then remove it. You can now extract the pinion shaft by pushing it outward. The retaining clip is very difficult to remove. You need to push the rear axle shaft toward the differential in order to have full access to the retaining clip. Remove the clip using a magnetic extender. Now you need to remove the brake system. To do so, we recommend watching our video, How to Replace the Rear Brakes Ford F-150. For great content, our best price, and fast shipping, download the CarParts.com app now. You can now remove the rear axle shaft. You can order the rear axle shaft used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Take the new rear axle shaft and insert it all the way into its slot. Then reinsert the retaining clip. Then pull on the axle shaft to block the retaining clip in its housing so that you can insert the pinion shaft. Reinsert the pinion shaft. On this vehicle, the lock bolt tends to break in the differential. We therefore advise you to replace it with a new one. Then replace the lock bolt, initially by hand. Then tighten it until it makes contact with the ratchet. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Before replacing the differential cover, you need to clean the seal surface to ensure a perfect seal. Protect the differential with a clean cloth. Remove the used seal with a razor blade. You can also use a wire brush to help you. Then scrub with an abrasive sponge. Remove the cloth. Finish with brake cleaner and wipe with a paper towel. Repeat the same operations on the differential cover. Once perfectly clean, thinly apply silicone gasket maker in order to ensure a perfect seal on the differential. Replace the differential cover, first tightening the bolts by hand. Then screw them back in with a ratchet until they make contact. This vehicle usually has 2 information plates that indicate the recommended fluid type, whether the limited slip option is installed. Reinstall the metal plates. Finish tightening the bolts in staggered order using a torque wrench. Now put the brake system back in place. To do so, we recommend watching our video, How to Replace the Rear Brakes Ford F-150. Now you need to add fluid back into the differential. This step must be done with care and precision. First, lower your truck back onto the ground as the differential fluid must be filled with the vehicle flat. You can order the differential fluid used in the video on CarParts.com via the link in the description. Then, using an oil syringe or a bottle with a filling spout, fill the differential until the fluid overflows from the hole, indicating that you have added enough fluid to the differential. Since our vehicle is equipped with the limited slip option, it is necessary to add the appropriate additive. Clean the differential's filler cap well because it is magnetic and there is often grime left on it. Now you can screw the filler cap back on. Finish tightening using a torque wrench. Clean up the fluid that overflowed from the differential. Operation complete.